So today we have certified health coach Sheri Traxler here today. The reason why I asked Sheri to be on, she actually reached out, and one of the main reasons, or one of the big things I see with entrepreneurs, we're busy. If you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, whatever you're doing in your career, we're always going to get busy, and I don't think that busyness will ever stop. We're going to have new businesses, new clients, new family members joining. If you're growing a family or if you're just growing in life, busy will never stop. And one of the key things when you're busy, when you're moving fast, is you're taking care of others, you're taking care of the business, you're taking care of your career, but what about taking care of yourself? How do you do that in a very holistic, natural way where you can have energy for everything in life and live inspirationally in an authentic way? And that's what Sheri focuses on. So Sheri, thank you for being on today.
It is my pleasure. I love it.
So Sheri, you reached out when I was talking about habits or keystone habits that leaders should have. And you mentioned very specific habits when it comes to having more energy and increasing your productivity through living a healthy lifestyle. Can you, expand a little bit more on that?
Yeah. Let me kind of set the stage on that. When there is a book called The Millionaire Mind, and in it, they research over 1,000 millionaires and multimillionaires. And when they ask them, rate the different activities that you do, the different factors in your life that have gotten you financially successful where you are, there were about 32 factors that they listed. Smack dab in the middle of that list was being physically fit, exercising on a regular basis, taking care of myself, my own health. And that was above where they went to school. That was above how smart they were. That was above who their investors were. So how you treat your body is so critical. And one of the phrases that they used in that was having extraordinary energy. And Raul, you know this, you cannot have extraordinary energy. It's not going to fall in your lap without a plan for authentic energy. You have to have a plan for it. It's not just going to happen. So as I've gone through research and experience with my own clients, there have been several different factors, buckets, whatever you want to call them, that contribute to creating that authentic, extraordinary energy. And they don't require, here's what's so fun is people think, oh, for me to live like that, it means I've got to live in the gym for 3, 4, 5 hours a day. I've got to just live on rice, beans, and carrots and celery. It really can fit your lifestyle. Thoughts,
Interesting.
questions as we jump on?
Well, no, I want to break it down because you went to very specific things. So you talked about authentic energy. I want to understand what that actually means. What does it mean to have authentic energy?
Okay. Have you ever had a Red Bull?
No, but I have cold brew coffee.
Okay, there we go. Well, it's a little bit of coffee isn't going to be so much of a boost, but when somebody is not getting enough sleep and they're living on Red Bulls, they're living on caffeine, they are living on adrenaline. I've done that. I'm not a caffeine junkie, but I went through adrenal fatigue. That's one reason this is a passion. I've gone through adrenal fatigue twice in my life, and it's because I was pushing and pushing and pushing, and it was the adrenaline keeping me going. But it wasn't authentic. It wasn't that as soon as I allowed myself to take a deep breath and chill, the energy would be gone. Whereas if you are having 15 or 16 hours of just this genuine full energy flow where your mind is sharp, you're not racing around, you're not all in a tizzy and haggard is not the right word, but if you have just this spastic energy or needing external stimulants to help you, that's not your own body, your own mind generating this gentle energy flow that's just continually there welling up through the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the difference between two is, because I have had those caffeine highs, right? And there's healthy amounts of coffee that I drink. There's also been unhealthy amounts. I've lived that. I understand that. But so how do I distinguish the difference, right? How does someone distinguish the difference is instead of just constantly on go, as opposed to, how do you describe like the authentic energy, that it's more of a energy,
Okay.
peaceful energy, or like, how does that work?
That's a great word, is peaceful energy. Have you ever had an experience where your energy has gotten so high
Mm-hmm.
that you're almost not thinking clearly? Your mind is going so fast, everything is clicking so fast, but it's not in a smooth way. It's almost a jagged way. Or
Mm.
when you sit down and the stimulus is not there, whether it's the crisis that you've been dealing with, or the caffeine, or the project deadline, or whatever it is, when that's not there, you don't have energy. It's gone.
Mm. I think that's key that you mentioned that, because there's two things in place here. The first is the external environment, like your own overwhelm, your own chaos, if that's with
Mm-hmm.
miscommunications, if that's with putting out fires in the company, in the business, if that's with overwhelm with clients or issues that way. So that's the external stimuli. But I think you're encompassing the internal stimuli of the body, our bodies itself, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
both coming together, because you can get overwhelmed, but depending on what state you are, like you mentioned, with having authentic, authentic energy, and we'll dive into how to get that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you can address those external stimuli in a much more calm, strategic, intelligent manner. Is that right?
Yes, you're not reacting to them,
Interesting.
and you're not having that sense of franticness that, okay, great, the sky is falling. All right, we'll figure this out. Versus the sky is falling, and because you've been running on adrenaline or caffeine or something else for so long, when that sky is falling, you fall apart.
It's panic mode, yeah. So I know we can probably go for hours on this, but what are some very easy applicable ways that leaders, or quote unquote everyone who's busy, can apply, and just what are some of the things that we can do to get more authentic energy? I'm really curious.
Okay, let's start with the foundation one. And you mentioned a second ago the panic, and that makes me think of, I definitely want to go into one that's on mindset piece. But physiologically, one of the absolute core ones is getting enough sleep.
Hmm.
We all are going to have times that project is overdue, crisis comes up at 2 a.m., whether that's a baby crying, if you have a young baby, or if it is something in your business that's come up. You're going to have some nights that aren't going to be perfect. But if
Mm-hmm.
overall you are honed in to whatever amount of sleep that your body needs, different for every person, that is going to increase your productivity. Sleep deprived. I love this. This is a quote from, I'm going to have to have you put this in the show notes. I can't pronounce his name. It's a Harvard professor who's a sleep specialist. If someone goes without sleep for 72 hours, or if they go without sleep 4 hours a night for 1 week, and that's actually pretty common in the business entrepreneurial world, that, okay, for a week, you're only getting 4 hours of sleep. It's equivalent to being drunk. Your mental capacity, your problem solving ability is equivalent to as if you were drunk. And his quote is that we would never applaud someone for coming into work drunk every day, but we applaud when people are saying, oh, look how dedicated they are. Look how much sleep they're losing to get this job done.
Hmm.
You can do that for 1 or 2 days, but long term you can't.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Everything in your life. And one good test for that, I've kidded about the caffeine. Well, I didn't kid about the caffeine. I was serious about the caffeine earlier. One good test for that is if people say, oh, I can get along on 4 or 5 hours a night, no problem. Are they depending on caffeine to do it? If you take that afternoon caffeine away, are they able to still function at the same high level? If not, it's not authentic energy.
Well, to look at the other side of it as well, I know that there are real restraints in life, and we are sometimes limited by our responsibilities, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I may only have 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night just because I can quote unquote not make the time. So how do you address that common objection or that common issue?
One is to get a coach and look at priorities to see
Okay.
if because there are seasons and there are choices. And by seasons, I mean, somebody has a newborn baby. Guess what? For a few weeks or even a couple of months, tough luck, you're going to be sleep deprived. But there are also times that by an active choice, that third extracurricular activity that we're doing outside of our work, we could let that go. Oh, we have 3 kids and all 3 of them are involved in 3 completely different sports and activities. Maybe we need to set a boundary. So first is to look at, are there boundaries so you could get more sleep? Then if it is a season that you absolutely cannot, then let's look at some of the other energy boosters. And I'm not even going to say hacks because that sounds like, that's a Red Bull. That's just
Yeah,
get
no, I
something
don't like
really
that word
fast.
either.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But an energy booster. So things such as sunshine, that's one of the big, and goes whether you get enough sleep or not, to get the highest level of energy and extraordinary energy that you can. Sunshine's very important. As much sunshine as you can get before 9 a.m. is critical to be to be able to help you sleep. I mean, you want to get it throughout the day, but definitely by 9 a.m. get some sunshine. Sunshine's going to do 2 things for you. One is as it hits your retina, that increases your serotonin level. That serotonin level is going to boost your mood immediately, but also that night, that serotonin is going to flip and become melatonin and help you sleep better. Another thing that sunshine's going to do is when it hits your skin, there are little endorphin factories in your skin. So when that sunshine, because you're a surfer, right?
Every now and then.
Okay, so when you are out on that surfboard, my friend, you are getting that sunshine into your skin, and that is increasing your endorphins, which is going to increase your energy. So if you have had to lose some sleep, definitely get your sunshine.
Interesting. I never thought about that before 9 a.m. Trying to think of ways to implement that. What are some other, so right now, tip number 1, obviously get more sleep. And we know, is it a season that we're going through in business and life, or is it a choice? And typically the choice is where it gets us. That's the hardest thing. That takes a lot of self-discipline to say, no, I got to go to bed early, and then training those around you, family, friends, yourself, to be in bed for one specific time. Okay, so more sleep, sunshine before 9 a.m. Okay.
Another one that's going to help a lot is exercise. That is another physical one that is going to help. And 2 ways to think of exercise. One is your baseline exercise. Exercise has been shown over and over again to increase your productivity by anywhere from 20 to 25%, increases your memory ability, increases your ability to get along with other people because of the hormone changes in your body. So exercise on a daily basis. Go for a 20-minute walk in the sunshine. Boom. You've just gotten 2 things in the morning that you've just gotten all of it that, you're great. Then specifically, let's say that you have an activity coming up that I don't know, in your field, are there things that you need to study and learn and memorize and get in your brain?
Yeah, I mean, yes, generally, in everything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's say that you have blocked a half a day to research and study something. That's a great day to go do some high intensity exercise.
Before or after? Before, right?
Before. Before that, because one of the things that it increases your ability to download that information. It stimulates the hippocampus, which is important for that. But just rule of thumb, if I've got something I need to learn that day, go do some high intensity exercise, whether it's high intensity interval class or you normally go for a walk. So, okay, let's throw some jog or a little bit of running in there with it. Just something so that it's higher intensity for you, whatever that looks like. On the days that you need to recall that information, let's say you're taking some type of certification test No, in a lot of fields, you have to periodically take certification test, or you have to do some type of continuing education, CEU type testing. On those days, you do not want to do high intensity exercise, because the downside of high intensity is it spikes the adrenaline, and adrenaline shuts down your memory recall.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. So if I'm going to absorb something, high output before, so high intensity, but if I'm going to recall something to give, it's better to do a longer walk,
moderate. Just long walk, a little bit of weight training, something that is not high intensity for you.
That's interesting. I never knew those two nuances.
Yeah. And it's not critical. And I say it's not critical because most people don't voluntarily go high intensity exercise every day. I know some people who like to do that, and I'm looking at him through the screen right now. And everybody listening, just so you know, this gentleman likes his high intensity exercise. So
yeah, we're a little crazy that way, but yeah, no, okay.
That's okay.
But okay. So I'm already trying to think some of the things that I can do already is doing a workout outside before, during sunrise, trying to do that. With the high intensity, not high intensity, going to have to balance that one out, right? Depending if I'm going to be delivering content or training or helping other people as opposed to reading a book, taking a training, taking a class. Mm-hmm. What are some other ways that I can enhance my natural levels for authentic energy throughout the day?
I want to circle back. Earlier on, you mentioned the word panic. And that immediately made me think of meditation, because the way that our brains get wired differently with meditation, the way that the serotonin or other hormones impact with meditation to boost your energy, phenomenal impact. So if you, I don't know, I'm going to ask you, maybe I should ask you if you meditate, but having some time each day to train your brain through meditation is going to boost your energy. And that can happen overall, but it also can even happen moment by moment. Before we jumped on this call, I had about a 3 or 4 hour high intensity time, not high intensity exercise, but high intensity people interaction, very focused, very brain draining in a good way. And then I knew I had about 20 minutes before we got on this call. Mm-hmm. I took about 5 minutes of that to meditate. And as soon as I finished that 5 minutes of meditation, my energy was completely back to be able to engage with you.
So that's like breathing or just practicing stillness of the moment?
Yep. All I did with this was get in some sunshine. That's, the added bonus of that, and just did some meditation in sunshine. And because it is freezing cold right now, it was sunshine through a window, but it was still sunshine.
I see. Okay. These are very practical things. And I think anyone who's listening right now, I think you can pick up 1 or 2 things that you can apply almost immediately. Because I'm just thinking about some of the things that I can do, like right after this call. So I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say the other thing that went through my mind was when you talked about if things are chaotic around you and how that immediately drains your energy. So a big thing you can do for true authentic energy, again, true authentic meaning it's coming from who you are, not stimulus, external or internal, to drive you. And actually, I'm going to circle back. That may be a good way to describe authentic energy, is it's energy that is coming from you, not something else pushing energy.
You. I hear you.
Okay. So when you look around your environment, what in your environment is draining your energy and what in your environment is creating your energy? So whether it is chaos, a messy desk, a messy routine, or is it a peaceful environment? And those are things that are personal, because I have a friend who, when I go into her library, to me, it is cluttered. It is chaotic. For her, it is comfortable and cozy.
Interesting.
Other people will come into a space that I've created that I feel is peaceful, and for them it feels stark, so it's an irritant to them. So you have to find for you what is clutter free, what is the environment that gives you energy. Same thing with noise. Raul, you and I both know someone who loves to listen to heavy metal while he works. And it works for him. I could not concentrate. I have to have silence, whereas silence bothers him. So learning what you need that will create energy in your environment, the clutter, the chaos, the same with that is people. Who are the people who give you energy? Who are the people who don't? So actually a good evaluation of energy is not only to think about your exercise and your sleep and your sunshine, and we haven't even talked about food yet, but even just doing a self-evaluation of throughout my day, what are the things that give me energy? Who are the people who give me energy? What are the activities that drain me? Who are the people that drain me?
Interesting. So doing more of a self-reflection and being true to oneself. And it's also what you can control, what you can't control, right? Again, going back to that and not going back to always focusing on you, but what you can tolerate, but what is something that you just shouldn't tolerate at some capacity, at some level, to be healthier in order to address your environment, your life, your work in a higher capacity. Because I think like if you're addressing something at your 100% as best as you can, then you're giving your best in that specific moment. And that's your value. That's not your value of self-worth, but that's like what you can give. And that's what life's about, like what you can give. And if you can give at the highest potential that you can give continually, then the world will be a better place because you're in it.
That is spot on. And I love the grace that you just covered all of that with, where you may not do the best sleep, the best exercise, the best sunshine, the best whatever every day. You don't have to. But if you're giving your best, whatever your best is that particular day, they're going to work together and make up for each other.
So Sheri, as we have this conversation, I'm starting to think like what I can do, what I can change, what I can implement, and I can feel a little bit overwhelmed, and I'm pretty sure any of our listeners might feel the same. So how do you address, that feeling when we try to make a change to have more authentic energy?
Okay. Pick one and start there. Which of the things that we've talked about, whether it's sleep or doing a little self-evaluation of your environment, of your day, is it sunshine? Is it exercise? What is a place that you think is going to either be easy to change or is going to be high impact? And then give yourself 7 to 10 days to implement that one thing. It doesn't have to be all at once. It can be, let's do one thing for 7 to 10 days. Is that comfortable yet? No, it's still tough. Okay, cool. Stay with that one. Oh, I'm 3 or 4 weeks into it. I'm starting to get the hang of this going to bed earlier thing. All right, now I can add one more thing in. It never is all or none. One thing at a time.
I like the way that you ease into that. And one other thing that I do want to encourage, though, don't be too lax. Like if it is 6 weeks in and you're trying to choose one thing, let's have a real self-analysis with each other. But I think realistically, it's gracefully entering into that and adapting something new, right? And figuring out how it fits into your schedule, right?
Yeah. Well, and because let's take the sleep. It's so easy to say, oh, well, go to bed earlier. Well, what in your life has to change for that to happen? It may take a few weeks to say no to that Thursday night poker game that you're used to playing all right, hey guys, can we shift it to Saturday? Because I really am tired of, being tired on Friday. Whatever that might be, to shift in your life is going to take some weeks. And speaking of the sleep, one of the guys that I've worked with, it was a phenomenal change that happened for him. He's an entrepreneur. And as we looked at his energy, we discovered that his number one thing, we didn't start with everything at once. His number one thing was his sleep. He would get on social media at night to decompress. Well, for 5 or 10 minutes, that's fine. Watch a YouTube video or scroll through Facebook for a few minutes. But that 5 or 10 minutes turned into 2 or 3 hours, and he wasn't going to bed until 1 o'clock in the morning. And when you've got a 7 a.m. client, that's not working.
A problem.
That's a problem. So we made some shifts for him. And one of the things he did, and I love this, he said, well, when I'm at this productive level, I make this much money. Or when I'm at this productivity level, I make this much money. So we started tying how long he was on social media at night to dollars. And so as he would be scrolling, he would go, well, I'm pretty relaxed now. I can go on to sleep. If I stay on here another 15 minutes, it's going to cost me $1,000. If I stay on here another 30 minutes, it's going to cost me $2,000.
Oh, wow.
He went to bed. Social media went down. He was able to put it down. And he told me that this is the most focused he's ever been on his health in his life. And it's also the most profitable he's ever been in his business.
Wow, that's wonderful, because it's focusing on the keystone habits, right? That impact every other habit that we have. It's focusing on, your personal health, which is how you address and focus in your real life. But also, I think it's like you've had the accountability piece, which is very hard to do, especially with ourselves, right? How can I keep myself accountable to this thing that I said I'm going to do?
Yes.
That's interesting. Well, Sheri, I really enjoyed this conversation today. I want our listeners to be able to continue this conversation with you and learning more from you. Where's the best place for them to get a reach of you, hold of you, or just learn more about you?
One definitely would be my website, thevireolife.com, VIREOLIFE.com. My YouTube channel is also Vireo Life. And the YouTube channel, I've just finished an energy series covering all these topics more in depth, as well as topics we didn't even get to. So encourage folks to go there. And I hang out on Facebook. I hang out on LinkedIn, Sheri Traxler. I'm a little bit on Instagram, getting better on that. But that's where
You're
I
not
go.
Logging in at night, though, that's for sure.
No, I'm not.
Awesome, Sheri. Well, thank you so much for being on. We'll include those links in the show notes. And Sheri, have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
You too.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Do Good Work podcast. If this episode resonated with you or know someone it might help, hit that subscribe and share button. If you want a clear step-by-step action plan to apply some of these principles we just talked about and the fundamental principles to grow your company and scale your impact, head over to my website, dogoodwork.io, and get my book, Productive Profits. In the book, we'll go over in detail the result-driven actions that will ensure that you grow your company safely and also reach the goals and mission you're called to achieve. Now, if you want to work directly with me to help you apply these principles in your business, head over to my page, dogoodwork.io/work with Raul. And there you'll see how it is to work with me. You'll see some kind words from other business owners, real businesses who have seen and felt the direct impact I help them create. And on that page, you'll be able to connect with me via email. We'll hop on a call. And even if we work together or not, you will leave with a customized action map for your own company. Yes, I'm that serious about providing value to anyone who comes my way. It's an honor to be part of your journey. This is Raul Hernandez. Do good work.